Rizal's life in Dapitan from 1892 to 1896. Wins lottery in Manila. Nanalo siya ng lottery sa Manila noong September 21, 1892 kasama si Ricardo Carnicero at ibang Spaniard. Nagkaroon siya ng 6,200 pesos at ginamit niya ito para makabili ng lupa sa Talisay ng 1 kilometro ang layo mula sa Dapitan. A direct life in Dapitan. August 18, 1993, binisita siya ng kanyang pamilya para mawala ang kalungkutan niya. Gumawa siya ng bahay sa seashore ng Talisay at nagtayo din siya ng paaralan at maliit na hospital. Rizal's letter to Blumentritt. Nagsulat din siya ng liham para kay Blumentritt at dinescribe ang buhay niya sa Dapitan. Physician in Dapitan. Nagpractice siya ng medicine sa Dapitan. Marami siyang pasyente pero karamihan doon ay mahihirap kaya imbes na bayaran ay binibigay niya na lamang ito ng libre. At dahil doon, mas lalong nakilala si Rizal sa ibang parte ng Pilipinas, tulad sa Bohol, Cebu at marami pang iba. Linguistic Studies. Noong April 5, 1896, ang huling taon ng exile ni Rizal sa Dapitan, sumulat ulit siya kay Blumentritt na alam niya na ang Bisaya at isalita ito ng ayos. Isa si masasabi si Rizal na isa siya sa world's great linguist dahil sa 22 languages na alam niya, katulad ng Tagalog, Ilocano, Bisayan, Sovanon, Latin, Greek, English, French, German, Arabic, Malaysia, Hebrew, Sanskrit, Dutch, Catalan, Italian, Chinese, Japanese, Portuguese, Swedish, and Russian. Rizal as a farmer. Bumili siya ng 16 hectares sa Talisay at doon nagtayo ng bahay, school at hospital. Nagtanim ng kakao, tubo, niyog at kung ano-anong mga prutas. Pinaalam niya ang modern agricultural method sa mga taga-Dapitan at nag-import ng mga makina sa United States.
So, dumako ulit tayo sa exile. So, sa mga naunang explanation, makikita natin doon kung gaano karami ang purpose ni Jose Rizal or kung ano yung purpose ni Jose Rizal kung bakit siya itinapon sa Dapitan. So, meron din palang purpose yung pagpapatapon ni Jose Rizal sa Dapitan. Hindi lang para magdusa siya doon or parusahan siya doon, kundi ang purpose niya rin doon makikita natin na tumulong sa mga tiga-Dapitan. Isa na dito yung clinic na itinayo niya. So, parang clinic siya or clinic talaga siya. Itinayo niya to para sa mga tao doon. So, dumako naman tayo dito sa artistic works in Dapitan. So, dito, he contributed his painting skills to the Sisters of Charity who were preparing the sanctuary of the Holy Virgin in the private chapel. So, dito, kinontribute niya dito yung artistic skills niya or painting skills niya sa mga Sisters of Charity. Okay, so let's proceed to our sculptural works of Rizal, The Mother's Revenge. So, sa 4 years na pagpapatapon kay Rizal sa Dapitan, hindi lang mga paggagamot sa mga nangangailangan o sa lugar ng Dapitan ang ginawa niya at mga activities. Nakapagawa din siya ng isang sculpture which is the Mother's Revenge. It is an terracotta sculpture by Rizal. So, terracotta means clay sculpture. So, Mother Revenge is depicting a mother dog attacking a crocodile that has devoured her puppy. So, ang meaning lang nito ay ang makikita natin dito sa literal story ay si Rizal, yung mga student ni Rizal sa Dapitan, kung saan naglalaro sila malapit sa shore, kasama yung puppy na belonging to sa mama ni Rizal. So, sinundan siya. So, yung tragedy dito ay yung crocodile, pinatay yung mga puppy ng dog. So, dito, tinuruan lamang ni Rizal yung mga students niya in dapitan ng moral story dito. So, dito sa atin, may symbolic meaning din to sa atin. So, yung mother dog, nagre-represent lang to ng Philippines and its patriots. So, yung puppy nagre-represent dito ng mga Pilipino na hindi kayang ipagtanggol yung sarili nila. Isipin natin na kahit alam nating wala ng laban, yung mother dog sa crocodile, lumaban pa rin siya. So, napakagandang meaning lang to para sa atin. So, maihahalin tulad din natin to sa kasalukuyan. So, ano ba yung kasalukuyan natin? Kasalukuyang nangyayari sa bansa natin, di ba? So, ito yung may mga fight against modern day corruptions, systematic injustice sa Pilipinas, at marami pang iba. So, yan. So, isa pa sa mga sculptural works of Rizal ay ang Dadapitan Girl, which means ipapaliwanag mamaya. So, wood carving of Josephine Bracken, makikita natin sa picture na ito yung artwork or sculptural ni Rizal kay Josephine Bracken. So, pahapyaw lang kung sino si Josephine Bracken. Isa ito sa loved ones ni Jose Rizal during of exilation sa Dapitan. So, sa 4 years niyang pamamalagi sa Dapitan, merong isang tao ang napamahal sa kanya, which is si Josephine Bracken. So, makikita natin dito na personal artistic works ito ni Rizal at possibly na ito na rin yung last niya. So, this sculpture representing his deep love and passion for Josephine. And lastly, bust of Saint Paul which he gave to Father Pastes. So, isa din dito ay ang pagko-contribute ni Jose Rizal sa mga pangalan ng species. Contribution to science. During his 4-year exile in Dapitan, Rizal built up a rich collection of conchology which consisted of 346 shells representing 203 species, which is Draco rizali or flying lizard, Apogonia rizali, isang maliit na salagubang, at ang Rhacoporus rizali, which is palaka. So, dako naman tayo sa Rizal as an educator. So, dito, sa pamamalagi niya sa Dapitan, nag-establish siya ng school for boys noong 1983. So, nag-exist ito hanggang sa the end of his exile in July 1896. So, ang mga pupils o ang mga estudyante ni Jose Rizal dito ay hindi nagbabayad sa kanya ng tuition para sa charge sa pagtuturo ni Jose Rizal, kundi he made them work in his garden, fields, construction projects in the community. So, maraming itinuro dito si Jose Rizal bukod sa pagbabasa at pagsusulat ng lengguwahe ng Spanish and English. Nagturo din siya ng geography, mathematics, arithmetic, and geometry, industrial works, nature study, moral, and gymnastics. So, napakadami ng tinuro ni Jose Rizal. Imagine natin na ganun pala katalino talaga si Jose Rizal. Even though meron siyang kinakaharap na problema, hindi pa rin niya isineset aside na matuto o magkaroon ng opportunity yung mga bata na matuto pa rin ng kung ano yung nalalaman niya. So, outside the class are ini-encourage ng mga estudyante niya si Rizal para mag-play ng games. So, isa na dito yung pagbaboxing, wrestling, stone throwing, swimming, arnis or native fencing, tsaka boating. So, isipin natin na Rizal as an educator, napaka-responsible pa rin talaga pala niya when it comes to teaching yung mga future natin. So, future youths o future na magiging katulad din niya. Isipin natin na maraming bagay ang sinakripisyo ni Rizal, but nagagawa niya pa rin magturo sa mga bata o binibigyan niya pa rin ng opportunity yung mga bata para magkaroon ng kaalaman sa iba't ibang bagay o sa mga bagay na nalalaman niya. So, dito naman, last is Rizal as an educator pa rin. So, water system for Dapitan. Rizal held the title of expert surveyor, perito agrimensor, which he obtained from Ateneo. In Dapitan, he applied his knowledge in engineering by constructing a system of waterworks in order to furnish clean water to the town people without any aid from the government. He succeeded in giving good water system for drinking and irrigation to Dapitan. So dito, successfully nabigyan niya ng maayos, malinaw na tubig na pwedeng inumin ang tiga-Dapitan without any aid from the government. So dahil nga isa siyang expert surveyor, so nagkaroon din ng opportunity si Rizal para mapatayuan ng water system for Dapitan. So makikita natin sa picture na maliit lang siya pero napakalaking pakinabang nito sa lugar ng Dapitan. So doon lang natatapos.
During exile, he also invented a wooden machine for making bricks. This is a type of machine could make about 600 bricks daily. During 1887, while practicing medicine in Calamba, he also invented a cigarette lighter which he sent to Blue Merit and called it sulpukan, made of wood, and its mechanism is based on the principle of compressed air.
Rizal and Josephine Bracken. Nung marinig George Typer ang tungkol sa kasakitan ni Rizal bilang isang ophthalmologist o doktor sa mata, siya ay naglakbay mula Hong Kong hanggang Dapitan upang magpagamot sa kanya dahil may karamdaman siya sa mata. Kasama niyang bumiyahe ang kanyang ampon na anak na si Josephine Bracken na noon ay napaibig na rin o na in love kay Rizal.
Now let's proceed to the trial of Jose Rizal. He left Dapitan on the midnight of July 31, 1896, boarding the steamer España. On August 6, 1896, he missed the mail boat to Spain. On September 3, 1896, bearing letters of introduction from the Governor-General to the Secretaries of War and Foreign Affairs in Spain, Jose Rizal departed for Barcelona on board the steamer Isla de Panay. 15 days before his departure, the Katipunan was betrayed on August 19, 1896. The Katipunan was discovered by Father Mariano Gil. Members and supposed members of the Katipunan were arrested and tortured until they revealed the names of other supposed members. At least, there were 4,377 people arrested. Bonifacio himself and most of the leaders escaped to the safe hiding places. So, yun nga, si Father Mariano Gil ang nakadiskubre ng Katipunan. Naging dahilan kung bakit nahuli ang 4,377 na miyembro ng Katipunan. At tinorture nila mga ito upang ma-reveal ng mga ito ang mga hindi pa nakikilalang miyembro ng Katipunan dahil ang iba ay nakatakas kagaya na lamang ni Andres Bonifacio at iba pang mga leader. Ang ilan sa mga uri ng torture na ginawa sa kanila ay ang pagbaburn sa kanila gamit ang mga metals kagaya ng iron. Ang iba pa ay hanging or garote, pati yung beating at whipping. Next, the preliminary investigation of Rizal's case began on November 20, 1896 that ran for 5 days. After the investigation, Rizal was said to have been informed the charges against him before a judge advocate, Francisco Olive. Si Francisco Olive ay isang Spanish military officer at investigator. Jose Rizal was accused of being the main organizer of the revolution by having proliferated the ideas of rebellion and of founding illegal organizations. Rizal pleaded not guilty and even wrote a manifesto appealing the revolutionaries to discontinue the uprising. So sabi dito ay inakusahan siya bilang main organizer ng revolution. Kahit na ang totoo naman ay ang kanyang sinimulang itatag ay ang La Liga Filipina na ang layunin naman nito ay ang pagreforma. Ang kaibahan kasi ng pagreforma sa revolution ay hindi sila gumagamit ng dahas, hindi sila conflict-driven kagaya ng revolution na tinatag ng mga katipunan. Dahil nakita nila na parang ang kagustuhan ni Rizal ng reformation ay wala namang patutunguhan dahil nagmamatigas sa mga Spanish authorities. Pero kahit na nga nag-pledge siya na hindi siya guilty, ipinapahuli pa rin siya. Dahil nga, sabi dito, Rizal was presented with two kinds of evidence, documentary evidence and testimonials, which he could not refute. The documentary evidences included but not limited to the following letters. So, these are the letters found by the Spanish authorities that they claimed that are evidences against Rizal. A letter of Antonio Luna to Mariano Ponce, a letter of Rizal to his family, a letter from Mariano H. del Pilar to Deodato, a poem entitled Kundiman, a letter of Carlos Oliver to an unidentified person, a Masonic document, a letter signed Dimasalang, a letter of Dimasalang to an unidentified committee, an anonymous and updated letter to the editor of the Hong Kong Telegraph, a letter of Ildefonso Laurel to Rizal, a letter of Rizal Segundo, a letter of Marcelo H. del Pilar to Don Juan Tenluz, transcript of speech of Pinkian, transcript of speech of Tiktik, and a poem of Laong Laon, Himno a Talisay. So, hindi nakalagay dito, pero idagdag ko lang na ayon sa aking na-search ay hindi direct ang ang letter ni Rizal sa mga katipuneros. Noong nalaman niya na ginamit ng mga ito ang pangalan niya para magsimula ng revolusyon, ay nagsulat siya ng letter disapproving the revolution dahil ang gusto niya ay maayos na reform movement at edukasyon. And despite him being against the revolution, the Katipuneros still admired him. Next, the Special Military Court summoned Rizal to appear before them. When the Isla Panay reached Suez, a cable awaited it, ordering the immediate arrest of Jose Rizal and his return to Manila for trial. On November 3, 1896, Rizal, heavily guarded, reached Manila and was locked in Fort Santiago. His brother Pasiano was tortured with a screw which was twisted into his left hand, while a pen was thrust into his right hand to make him sign a statement that his brother Rizal had been connected with the Katipunan. Pasiano would not sign, because that's how loyal Pasiano is to his brother.
Rizal inventions. During the trial, Rizal defended himself when he said that he did not question the jurisdiction of the court, but he had nothing to admit on the charges against him, as well as on the declarations of the witnesses who testified against him. What he only needed to clarify was the charge that he dealt with political matters while in exile. Rizal's lawyer, L.T. Luis Taviel de Andrade, tried his best to save Rizal. However, on December 26, 1896, the trial ended and the sentence was read. Jose Rizal was found guilty and sentenced to death by firing squad Luis T. de Andrade. Sa bahaging ito, sinabi ni Rizal na hindi naman niya tinutol ang korte, pero nililinaw niya na wala siyang kasalanan sa mga binibintang sa kanya. Tapos ang gusto lang niya ipaliwanag is yung issue na may kinalaman siya sa politiko habang siya ay nasa exile. Tapos ginawa naman ni Luis Taviel de Andrade ang lahat para ipagtanggol si Rizal. Kaso yun nga lang, nagdesisyon ang korte na si Rizal ay may sala at dapat hatulan ng kamatayan by firing squad. Testimonies against Rizal were given by Martin Constantino, Aguedo del Rosario, Jose Reyes, Moises Salvador, Jose Dizon, Domingo Franco, Deodato Arellano, Pio Valenzuela, Antonio Salazar, Francisco Quezon, and Timoteo Paez Rizal, however, did not know or had not met most of the people included in the list. Rizal was immediately sent to trial and held in prison after the evidences were reviewed. Alongside, in his incarceration, his properties were seized as indemnity and he had to pay 1 million pesos. Instead of civilian lawyer, an army officer, Luis Taviel de Andrade, represented Rizal in court. Tapos dito naman, yung mga nabanggit ko na tao, sila yung mga tumotoo kay Rizal. Tapos, hindi naman, sa karamihan sa kanila is hindi kilala or hindi pa nakakasalamuhan ni Rizal. Then, matapos makita ng mga otoridad ang ebidensya, mabilis na inilitis at ikinulong si Rizal. Tapos, kinuha ng pamahalaan yung mga ari-arian niya. Tapos, pinagbayad pa siya ng malaking halaga, 1 million pesos. Tapos, binigyan, hindi ordinaryong abogado ang binigay sa kanya, kundi yung sundalong opisyal at yun ay si Luis Taviel de Andrade. On December 28, 1896, Governor General Camilo de Polavieja signed the court decision. He later decreed that Rizal be executed by firing squad at 7 a.m. of December 30. Rafael Dominguez at 6 o'clock in the morning of December 29, 1896 read, before Rizal, the official notice of his execution is scheduled the next day. Rizal was immediately transferred to the prison chapel where he spent his last hours on earth. Rizal, on his last remaining days, composed his longest poem, Mi Ultimo Adios, when his mother and sisters visited him on December 29, 1896. Rizal gave away his remaining possessions. He handed his gas lamp to his sister Trinidad and murmured softly in English, "There is something inside." Eventually, Trini and her sister Maria would extract from the lamp the copy of Rizal's last poem. Noong December 28, 1896, nilagdaan ni Governor General Camilo de Polavieja ang hatol ng hukuman laban kay Rizal. Tapos pagkatapos nag-utos siya na barilin si Jose Rizal on December 30, alas 7 ng umaga. Tapos 6 o'clock a.m. December 28, 1896, binasa ni Kapitan Rafael Dominguez yung official na abiso ng kanyang pagbitay sa mga susunod na araw. Tapos, pagkatapos nun, nilipat si Rizal sa kapilya ng bilangguan. Tapos, doon niya i-spend yung mga natitirang araw niya sa mundo. Sa mga natitirang araw na yon, nagsulat siya ng mahabang tula na pinamagatang Mi Ultimo Adios, na ang ibig sabihin ay ang huli kong paalam. Tapos, sunod nun is, nung dalawin siya ng nanay niya at saka ng kapatid niya noong December 29, 1896, pinamigay ni Rizal yung mga natitirang niya mga ari-arian. Tapos, ibinigay niya sa kapatid niya yung lamparang may ilaw. lamparang may ilaw. Kay Trinidad. Tapos, may binulong siya na English. Sabi niya, there's something inside. Na ibig sabihin is, meron nga laman sa loob. Tapos, tinignan ni Maria at ni Trinidad, yung laman. Yun pala, ang laman nun is yung mahabang tula na isinulat ni Rizal.
Good day, everyone. Today, I will report about one of the most emotional and important parts of the life of our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal. This is the final chapter of his life, which shows not only his intelligence and bravery but also his deep love for our country. The death of Rizal, December 30, 1896. Before his execution, Rizal was imprisoned in Port Santiago. He spent his last hours writing letters, poems, and praying. One of his famous works before his death was Mi Ultimo Adios, or My Last Farewell. It was a poem full of love for the Philippines, showing his willingness to die for freedom. Rizal was executed at Bagumbayan, now known as Luneta Park. At 3:30 in the morning, Balaguer led a Mass Rizal, once again made a confession and received communion. At 6:30 in the morning, Rizal, in black suit with his arm tied behind his back, walked to Bagumbayan, and at 5 a.m., Rizal ate his last breakfast and autographed some memorabilia. During the execution at Bagumbayan, he faced the firing squad bravely, turning his back only to be shot from behind, but he twisted his body as he fell, facing the rising sun, symbolizing hope and freedom for the Filipinos. Our national hero, Rizal, died offering his life for our country and for our freedom. His death sparked a revolution in the country against the Spanish government, which ruled Las Islas Filipinas, now the Philippines, from 1565 to 1898. With Rizal's death, awakened the hearts of many Filipinos. His execution inspired others to continue fighting for independence. He may have died, but his ideas and love for our country live on forever. As he once said, I wish to show those who deny us patriotism that we know how to die for our country and convictions.